And one thing you can get you ready for, Mr. Regal, is the main event. And you said you didn't wrestle that many main events, but we have quite a main event here, which
Yes,
is
we
a
do.
four-way. Again, if you're looking for this on Peacock, don't look for Takeover 2. You'll be lost forever. Just look for NXT four-way, and you'll see it. And the reason it's called that is because it's a four-way match between who I think, and everybody's catching up to now, by the way, the great Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, Tyson Kidd, and of course, you know Miss Pack, Adrian Neville. What man? What a collection of
What a
interesting
collection and what an
talent.
fantastic. Yes.
And really, it's a testament to what NXT has done is developing characters, developing their truest selves, giving Tyson Kidd a place to go to kind of, maybe reboot a little bit and hitting it out of the park. What strikes? I know you took some notes. Like, what struck out to you about this match? It went 24-11, and there was not a dull moment in it.
First thing that I liked, uh, what I just talked about in the last match is the character, intensity, facials, the
Believing what you're doing.
believing
Yeah.
what you were doing. They all come out looking like they were there to beat somebody, and it continued throughout the entire match.
The title seems important. It seems
it
like,
means,
it
means, which it is. It means
Yeah.
everything to you.
And there wasn't a
Your
lot of
life
talk of
depends on
like,
it.
there was a lot of talk of like how to get promoted or they want to get out of NXT. NXT was treated like its own unit, and
Yes.
this title was really what you were there for.
Right. So you got 4 people that were already experienced came into NXT, and so let's get that out of the way, because there's always going to be people. Oh well, they were already wrestlers, yes. But sometimes NXT was somewhere to learn some of the things that I've been talking about today, just to sharpen you or learn how to be a good TV wrestler, because TV wrestling is very different than just being a good TV wrestler is very different than being just a normal professional wrestler. So NXT was a lot of things and still is a lot of things for a lot of people. It's not always about where did people start. It's what you take out of it. So everybody played the part perfectly well. The first thing that got me, my can I say juices flowing? Yes, I can, can't I?
You can
'Cause
say that.
I
It
can
can mean
get away with
several
anything.
things. It can mean
Yes,
several
no, I can
things.
get away with was Neville's or Pac's ring music, because it just got me back up on my Prodigy days. So
That, as a musician, and I don't know if you know, I've done some wrestling themes. I did FTR's first theme. I did
Right.
Deonna Purrazzo's theme.
Right.
As a wrestling theme fan, that era of CFO's music for NXT
Okay.
people is the best music. I put it above Jim Johnston. I think Mikey is amazing, and he's going to be the GOAT at some point. But that CFO's, that music from Finn Balor to Shinsuke to Sammy to Adrian Neville, amazing stuff.
Amazing
all of
stuff.
it. All of it.
And I'm absolutely not taking credit for this, but it is a reality. It's become a reality. It was funny when I heard it. There's a very famous British comedian called Peter Kay, and he does a bit about when, like you turn that music down, put some of the old stuff on, as every generation does. So back in my day, he said, imagine when and I'm 54 now, and turn that rubbish off. Put some proper music on. Put the Prodigy on. Smack your bitch up. It's your mum's favourite. Come on. So that's me and my wife are like 50 odd now.
Right.
We were both banging into Prodigy at the time, right? So that was just and he just matched everything about this was just great. Everything we've talked about, the Sammy, just the nuances of everybody's facials, and the wonderful shot at the end of Sammy just sat like hunched down in the corner, just looking defeated and confused, and like, I can't believe I've lost. And there was just, and everybody played their role perfectly in that match, and that was it. And it still holds up, and it's still one of those things that I suggest people watch, because again, you got 4 people going out there, believing in what they're doing, knowing what they're doing, and trying to looking like they belong in there, and you you can't get any better than that. That's
It,
if you can get just that bit right, you can get through this job.
isn't it interesting that this weekend, a picture of Sami Zayn getting a shirt from Roman Reigns, the facial
Mm,
expression on his face, it took over Twitter. Sami
right.
Zayn is known for, and you said, man, sitting there dejected in the corner. This guy wore a mask
Yep.
for so long, and I'm guessing wanted to wear the mask when he came in. I don't know, but what did he? I mean, the service you guys did for him to
Oh,
sell
that,
him, and
that
and and
that's
now he's amazing at it. Like it's one of his greatest
he's
strengths.
is make it work, right?
Yes, sir.
He
Yes,
is the
sir.
perfect example. There is anybody who says or sits and moans and goes, just look at what he did from his time that he got there to now. And everything that people say, oh, well, WWE want this, or and or whatever it may be, Sami Zayn is the perfect example of if you just go out there and give it all you've got and make it work, there's a chance you've got of making it. And people will say these silly things. They're not silly because they're their reality. But yeah, but there was a time when he wasn't. So there was a time when he wasn't. He's been employed by the WWE for a long time. And
Yes,
he's made
sir.
a lot of money. And he was a fellow that had traveled all over the world and probably never thought he would get in. And or I don't know if he did or not, but he's proved everybody, it's a Daniel Bryan thing as well, like, oh, he's this or he's that. And if you want to believe a certain narrative, that's fine. I look at it as a pro. They came in and they made it work, and they're still making it work, and they've made um, a hell of a career out of
And
it.
and you never know. Like
And
right
they got a
now,
hell of a career before they ever came to WWE, or now in Brian's case, being in AEW, and anybody who's on the roster in AEW that's made it and made it in other places, doesn't matter where you've made it. When you got to look at these people and go, good for them. Anybody, because if you can last in this job, that's the real reality of being a pro, is to have a career in this job. Strip away all the other stuff is just extra nonsense. If you can make a living out of being a pro, that is the goal that you should be trying to think about. And a lot of things go into that, but he has done that. So has Pac, and Pac has had and they've all had incredible careers, right? There's unfortunately like Tyson TJ got injured, but he's still
he still made a
in the
career. He
right.
still made a
And
career as a producer and a lot of
yes,
other things that he's
and
doing.
an
Yeah.
incredibly smart person and knows what he's doing with this job. And Tyler Breeze is just, as far as I know, is just taking a break for a while. I'm sure he'll be back doing something soon. He's just having a break,
I wanted to ask
smart,
you
giving his body a rest, I would imagine.
before we sign off. This has been maybe my favorite episode of this show so far. I love the in-depth analysis. I want to talk a little bit about Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze was someone, like we said earlier, you guys would try to find something if it didn't work, try something, and it appeared to me watching Breaking
Can I
Ground.
just say this
Yeah,
one thing? He tried it, and we, or everybody there allowed him to do it. He's I've said this before, but I know from and they've never told me, and just, I know a lot of people have to give Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods a lot of credit because they helped. They were very helpful to any new people that came in, and they helped them in lots of ways. There's very few people are unselfish enough to do that, and he was one of them, and Xavier was another.
you
So
see that on
yeah,
Breaking Ground.
mhm,
There's the scene where Triple H calls Tyler to the front of the room and says, "You're going to the main roster," and you could see genuine affection
mhm.
and adoration from everyone in the room
Yep.
to this guy. Like it was a moment, and you can't fake that. Like it appeared that this fella, it was very beloved in the
Yeah.
system of NXT.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And well, excuse me a second. Um, as far as until December last year, when I left there the last time, there's a big picture of him up in the trainer's room.
Mm.
So when you have to walk through the trainer's room all the time, or go in there for whatever you get in, and there's a big, huge, big thing on the door of Tyler Breeze, and I would imagine it's still there.
And you talk a lot about taking real world stuff and making it into your character.
Yeah, and he's
Zoolander, this
right.
movie of Ben Stiller is this over the top model, and
Mhm.
like on paper, I don't know, but as soon as you saw it, I think Tyler was one of the ones who got a "This is awesome" chant on his entrance the first time. Like
Right.
people really loved that character
Loved
when
it,
he first
yeah,
started. Yeah.
and smart with the selfie thing, and then the whole and we had some great backstage things with me and him where it just like he was and he became another sort of a sidekick for me kind of thing. It just there was little bits where he'd just be there and
He,
be in my office and I
he
could just react to him and just like breeze, and he, so there's a running gag through the show of that for many episodes, and so um somebody else highly rate and highly think a lot of good lad.